good call. We have an LSD. You know, this is like a big problem with Forever Second Place. I feel like LSD has that composition advantage, but Forever Second Place, they only have that one composition available to them, so they're going to have to overcome here against an LSD.
I think it's going to be really hard. Their kill
I
windows,
agree.
like, I mean, they have a couple of options, but all of them are fairly difficult to accomplish. They can make Druid swaps to Looney, try and force his Trinket with one, force his Skin with one, and then get a kill on the third one. But that's very risky, very all-in, and they have to get those cooldowns almost exactly in that order if they're going to do it. They could play it for a later game in Dampening, look for a kill on the Warlock. Or the Ellie Shaman, but even then, still risky. We can see that Linaway is already falling behind. We see Forever Second Place pushing forward, trying to get an aggressive stance maybe onto Looney, but Linaway is just struggling. He's trying to hold on to cooldowns as Fabio hasn't popped the Dark Soul yet. He's holding on to them very patiently. Smart play, I think, from Fabio. He wants to make sure that he can't be interrupted when he goes for that, and they are going to go for the Druid strategy. A Horrify over onto Looney. He's going to trade out that Barkskin. I don't even think the Barkskin will be enough if they can chain everything together. We see Jamie instantly off healing him, just spamming out these healing surges one after another, trying to ground the silence. He doesn't manage to get it. I think Looney should be able to escape. A bit of a scary trade for him. He will survive, and now Forever Second Place have really locked themselves into a strategy. They're going to have to go after Looney again if they want to like force the cooldowns that they need to get to win.
Yeah, crucially, Fabio was able to get the CS on Fright Kitty's Frost Tree there, which did shut down a bit of the damage. Jamie, of course, with those spam heals and that grounding totem also helping out there. I think he might have even grounded the DRD Priest, although don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely sure. They are now going offensive, though. Fright Kitty dropping kind of low. A nice heal out from Linui. Is going to keep him stable for now, but he's down to 50%, maybe not. He could be in a lot of trouble here. He has to fake the CS. They are actually swapping up over onto Jamie. The Ironbark on Looney does provide them with this opportunity. He's down to 40% right now. They do land the sheep out of the deep. Excellent job by Forever Second Place, who are getting a lot of pressure onto Jamie right now. He's down to 30% with that Shamrage. The silence off that might be enough for them to secure the kill, actually. Jamie just spamming out those heals. A lot of counter pressure coming out from Speechless. Linway really struggling, having to pop that execution sentence, but he's still down to 40%. His whole team are kind of low. It looks like he's going to be able to stabilize them as they do kite away. Well played by Forever Second Place, able to just force that cooldown and then back off. They're also getting a lot of mana out of Looney. He's having to spam these pre-hots to keep his team up. I really like this play from them, but I feel like it's going to be so hard for them to still land the kill. Of course, Looney still has that trinket available. Shamrage is available in about 20 seconds. They have to go before that if they want to really achieve anything onto Jamie here. If not, they're just going to get a complete reset of cooldowns, and Speechless is just going to be fine.
Yeah, we see Linaway still struggling to heal through damage at the moment right now. Everyone dipping almost to half HP. Linaway just spam casting Flash of Light, and he's still not at 26%. He's not even dotted. He's just letting himself get low, and I'm wondering if Jamie's going to try and punish him for how low he's allowing himself to go. We see a preemptive Ironbark play onto Jamie. I like that. He didn't have Shaman Rage for a few seconds, and now he will have it for this Deep Freeze. I'm curious if Valet can maybe silence Jamie. Stop. There's the silence. He's unable to Shaman Rage. Looney sees it. He trinkets right away and dispels him out. I think it was a good reaction from Looney. Valet set up a very potentially lethal setup there, so well done from Speechless. But now, with Looney's trinket down, this is an opportunity for Forever Second Place to get a kill.
Yeah, and Frykitty used his block offensively for that, but I do like that play. He will have another one available should he wants to do it again offensively. Jamie doesn't have a trinket, Looney doesn't have a trinket. They do have that Shamrage. Of course, he wasn't able to use it there during the disarm or the silence, so that cooldown is available, but we could see them try and swap it up onto Looney again. He's kind of playing behind the pillar. He's sort of safe. He needs to, of course, not charge in. He can't play too offensively. Looney, especially right now, has his wings up. That's a lot of damage and healing potential. And now we see Forever Second Place trying to go offensive there. A nice thunderstorm from Jamie. It's going to deny the CC perhaps, but they actually land the sheep anyways. The full silence onto Jamie. He doesn't have his trinket available just yet. He can't use that Shamrage. 2 DPs go out from Vilai onto him, but it's not going to get too much damage done, unfortunately. He's down to about 90%. He looks completely fine. He's even allowing Looney to sit in that fear. Unsure if there's a tremor available, but it doesn't seem to really matter. He didn't drop below 80% HP there, and that was Forever Place's chance, I feel like, to get the kill. That was their one chance where there was no real trinkets for Speechless, and now the bubble has come out from Linway. He doesn't have his thing, but they're actually swapping over onto Kibba. The Deep Freeze comes out. He's down to 50%. Can they follow up with a Disarm? It doesn't look like it. The Barkskin is forced there, though. They don't have any Barkskin or Trinket on Looney. Maybe they could go for a kill on him. Jamie dropping low as well. He's falling a little behind on healing, but just look at Forever Second Place. Nice Cyclones coming out onto Linway, followed up by Earthquake Stuns and Roots. They're just doing whatever they can to stop his healing. He's falling behind. Vilay even goes down for a drink. Intelligent play by him, getting a little bit of mana and HP back. And Linway's going to be able to top his team behind the pillar, but I feel like Looney's Trinket is going to come back before Forever Second Place can reach him again.
Yeah, they're going to have to overextend if they want to get that window. 9 more seconds, 8 more seconds if they want to make a swap onto Looney. Valet is playing aggressively here, sprinting across the map. Maybe they don't want to do it, though. Deep freeze on Looney. They're going to go over onto Jamie. They have to cover with the silence to prevent that shamanistic rage. Actually going to rotate it around and silence Looney instead. It seems like they weren't able to follow up the CC, and because Forever Second Place haven't landed that crowd control, they're going to fall very far behind. Linaway has that Avenging Wrath. Nice Master Spell, actually, from Valet. Removed all of the Warlock dots. Smart maneuver from him, actually. That's going to give Linaway a little bit more breathing room to try and get his team back up on health. We can see Jamie in hot pursuit, though, dropping that Fire Elemental, bringing the heat. Linaway sees it. He's going to pop his Avenging Wrath, try and trade out some healings. He's going to bot Valet out of that bash. He's trying to pick him up desperately here. His entire team at half HP. Here comes the setup. Will they be able to force a kill? They force Jamie's Trinket out of this setup, but really not too much other than that. Looney still has his Trinket, and it looks like Speechless are in a great position to win this game.
Yeah, I feel like Forever Second Place still want to hit that Druid. I see them dotting them. You can see them throwing some icicles here. They're just trying to pressure him, maybe force him away so that Speechless can't play too offensively. But he still has his Trinket available. He should be fine. Forever Second Place, they are quite stable, and Linaway's mana is really good. He's doing an excellent job of keeping his team up. I really like how he's playing this game right now. But I'm not sure if going into Dampling is going to favor them. They've dropped low so many times and they don't have that wings available for 40 seconds. We see the offensive push coming out of them, the deep rob, the sheep onto Jamie. They're actually swapping up onto Fabio. He uses his Dark Regeneration early, but that's going to trigger them to go onto Jamie. They force the Shamrage. The GR sheep comes out. Is there anything to follow up? I don't think there's a Tremor for the Sphere. The full Fear, he's just going to sit behind the pillar and top himself, though. He does have a lot of mana. Jamie should be able to off-heal for quite a while, and now they need to be offensive onto Forever Second Place, who are kind of out of position. The sacrifice comes out onto Villi, but it's not going to do too much against this spread pressure team. Villi sitting at about 40%. There's no shield procs, of course. The Paladin running double beacon, so they can just go down to random lava burst procs. Jamie trying to get as much damage as possible. That's going to be the snap from Fried Kitty. He has one ice block available. They still have to disperse. There's still quite a few cooldowns on Forever Second Place, but their health pulls aren't looking too pretty. They need to get offensive onto Speechless again. The preemptive Iron Bark from Looney, though, is going to prevent that for just some time. That Shamrage is coming up in 17 seconds. They can probably just delay Forever Second Place until that Shamrage comes up. That's what they need to do. But now, Forever Second Place, they see their opportunity. They go for the deep freeze. They land the full sheep. Important plays by Fried Kitty. This could be the game. The Trinket comes out from Looney, but will it be enough? He dispels into the full side. Jamie could go down, and he does go down. 1-0 to Forever Second Place, and despite this potential comp disadvantage, they're able to take the first game.
Yeah, no Sham Rage for like another 2 seconds or something, and with enough dampening, Forever Second Place were able to do enough damage. And I'm wondering if maybe the Enhancement Shaman version would have been more consistent. Enhancement Shamans get instant healing, so he just pops out a couple 80k healing surges without having to cast, whereas the Elemental Shaman has to cast to heal, which opens himself up to getting interrupted. So I'm wondering if maybe the Ellie Shaman maybe it could have been a bit weaker than the Enhancement Shaman version, because it seemed like Forever Second Place, they knew how to play the matchup despite being disadvantaged. They knew the strategies. They executed, actually, I think 3 different ones, and then decided that, we're not going to get a kill onto Looney. He's too slippery. We're going to set up some swaps onto Fabio, maybe bait the cooldowns out from him, and then they commit to the Shaman later in dampening, and they just played the game out pretty standardly, and they didn't get caught off guard whatsoever. And I think it's kind of Speechless that have to step up their game, or maybe Jamie switches to Enhancement to try and get a different edge defensively.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the Shatter plays. Adaptation to their strategy mid-game. They're trying something. It didn't really work. They had confidence in their decision-making. They swapped that strategy over, and they found that opener. They found that weakness. They found that opening of no defensive cooldown available, no Sham Rage, and, they nailed it. And I think that is a big reason to why. And they did it so consistently, and them doing it over and over, setting up over and over and over again is a big reason to why they got themselves into that position in the first place. So kudos to them taking down an LSD in game number 1 on the Grand Arena. But it actually makes me second guess my knowledge on composition advantages watching that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would definitely be interested to see, the enhancement version of LSD. I think that, like you said, there's a lot more like immediate damage, a lot more immediate healing, and it could very well be the difference between surviving or falling to this Shatter play going into game number 2. And it looks like Ruins of Orderon is going to be the map choice. We're going to jump right back into the action, and we're going to see what these teams locked in for compositions. And it looks like Jamie is going to be sticking with Elemental. So we still have both teams running the same composition. But on a map like Ruins of Orderon, this is kind of nice for the LSD. They don't really have, I mean, this Shatter play, Forever second place, Valet on the Shadow Priest, Fried Kitty on the Frost Mage, and Linaway on the Holy Paladin. They're not really going to have any line of sight, or very little line of sight, so they're going to be feeling the pressure of this LSD consistently all game long. And it's going to be up to Linaway to keep his team aggressive.
Yeah, I agree, but I still think I would have liked to have seen the enhancement. The thing is, Linway is playing the spec, the double beacon spec, which means they don't have any Save by the Light procs, which means he's able to kind of sit behind the pillar, and if he can heal one target, he can heal both targets. He's quite happy healing the PvE damage, but if they put that enhance in it, maybe it allows them to play more offensively, push in a little bit, maybe push for more shears on Linway and put him further behind, because it is harder to recover if you can't free cast with the spec. Jamie, of course, is really well known for his enhancement as well. He's incredibly high rated on it. I haven't seen him so much on the Elemental. I'm sure they've practiced the LSD a little bit, but I'm sure their turbo's a lot more practiced, and I've seen them play enhanced LSD as well. So I feel like their enhanced LSD could just stomp the Shadow player. I really feel like it's a matchup that they should be able to win. This Elemental just kind of allows Linway to sit back and PV heal, but we'll see how it works on this smaller map where there aren't so much loss for the Shadow play. We see the Deep followed up by the Silence. That's going to force the Sham Rage onto Jamie. He's sitting at about 60% HP, but we do see a lot of pressure coming out onto Forever second place. We need to see Speechless pushing in now. They do have that Sham Rage up. There's no Deep Freeze available for Forever second place. They can't really punish them for pushing in, but they seem somewhat reluctant. They're kind of sitting away. They're trying to get that damage, but they're able to LOS it. Maybe they can go to one of the side pillars here. Forever second place, looking reasonably stable, not even having to use that wings just yet. Villa sitting at about 40% HP, but he's able to empty the dots, I believe, so there's no real pressure coming out onto Forever second place. They could just set up for another go onto Jamie.
Yeah, we see Looney actually going into stealth. That was smart. He got the Iron Bark out from stealth, so sick play from Looney there. And it seems like Forever second place are going to adapt and swap to him instead. Now caught into the Horrify, forced to trade out his Bark skin, and suddenly he's down both of his Bark skins. But we see counter pressure in the meantime. Jamie and Fabio doing work. Valet down to half. Fried Kitty forced to block. Linaway getting swapped to. He's forced to Trinket. Here comes the Avenging Wrath. That's going to boost his healing a lot. He should be able to top his team. And a triple fear out from Valet should allow them to set up something here. Unfortunately, the Polymorph was half the yard on the Looney. They're going to follow up with the Silence, though. Valet is committing pretty heavily to this. They need to get the Shamanistic Rage. They lock Jamie out. He's unable to use it. Maybe they can just burst him down because of this. He's caught into the full Fist of Justice. A lot of damage following it up. Looney is forced to trade out that Nature's Swiftness to try and pick him up. Looney should be able to recover. A bit of a close call, but Jamie, man, he held onto that Sham Rage despite dipping so low, and they're going to get ahead because of it.
Yeah, well anticipated by Jamie, but we can see these amazing fears coming out of Villa. He's just getting great fears on cooldown, and they're doing excellent swaps around the Iron Bark and stuff. Really creative play by Forever second place, and they definitely need to do that, because if they get too predictable, then Looney's just going to read them like a book and get these pre-Iron Barks. They're going to get the pre-groundings. They're going to be able to just read Forever second place and stop all the offensive pressure, but because Speechless are taking so much damage, it means they can't push in so much and get that pressure onto Linway, which they really need to do to stop him from just healing in the backline, especially since his wings are down still for another 30 seconds. He doesn't have Bubble available, he doesn't have that Safe by the Light proc since he isn't running it. He could just go down here. He's down to 14%. He gets the NS off, he uses the Aura Master, he's down at about 30%. His Bubble should be available momentarily. Looks like he's going to be okay for now, but that was a close call. The double Shadow Fury onto Forever second place. Speechless are trying to push in. The Demon Soul comes out from Fabio, and Villa is still low. He's down to about 30%. That wings is available now, though. Linway should be popping it very, very shortly. Maybe he can hold on to it. Fried Kitty down to about 30%. There is that wings. They need to start getting offensive here. He's going to be able to top them off. This is Forever second place's chance to go. They identify that. An excellent pre-Iron Bark from Looney, though, on that Horrify, reading that the double fear meant that the swap to him, he should be able to even hold on to his Trinket here. He didn't have that skin available. That was very important from Looney.
Yeah, they're still following up, though. Looney forced to use his Hellstone. They might just kill him. He's going to die. So much damage to follow it up. And surprise from Forever second place. He felt like he was safe. Jamie was off-healing him. And then for the 1 second that he stopped off-healing him, they just bursted him through with an Ice Nova and finished him off. And, you know, Forever second place, despite maybe being disadvantaged compositionally, they know the matchup. They know how to exploit the weaknesses within this matchup. And they're doing really good. They're just playing really standard, really well all around. So, you know, kudos to Forever second place. And I think Speechless, once again, they have to step up their game if they're going to take this series.
And this Shatter play is really doing a great job at making me put my foot in my mouth, because I've been talking about composition advantages, this and that, and like this is why this LSD is gonna win. It's because they have those multiple comps, but like in this scenario right here, they're doing a great job at finding those setups and nailing them so consistently. I can't help but put more emphasis on that. And but yeah, I think you're 100% correct. It's definitely up to the LSD at this point to play better. I mean, looking at like the setups over and over and over again, they just look like they're not getting stopped like at all. They're just letting them walk all over them, I feel, and the defensive cooldowns are just has to be forced because of it. But I don't know. I mean, this team was number 1 seeded in the last tournament for a reason. This LSD is definitely capable, but they're gonna have to change something up going into game number 3 here. They're just 1 loss away from being knocked down to that lower bracket.
Yeah, someone just linked me. I remember from the RMD mirrors, there was lots of requests for replays, and someone's actually gone ahead and made an odd shot of the of one of the kills. Maybe I just posted in chat because it is quite a fast kill, and you can see that they actually use a ton of cooldowns, but it's I don't know. RMD mirrors are like that, but we're still talking about the series. I'm really surprised they're sticking to that amount. I really feel like Jamie feels so comfortable in the enhancement. Enhancement LSD does have a favorable matchup perhaps against the Shadow play, but I'm really impressed by how well the Shadow play is playing both offensively and defensively. Linui is able to out-heal the damage so efficiently. I feel like they're not really coming close to dying. There was that one scare where he bobbed himself out the bash and almost died for it, but honestly, they weren't too close to dying in either game, and he's keeping them up a long time and allowing them to make these offensive plays.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about the evolution of this matchup as well. I feel like we've been watching these two compositions go head to head for expansions now. LSD, I feel like, was really, really strong back in MOP, as well as this. I believe this matchup was also played at BlizzCon as well. So I mean, all of the players on both these teams are super thoroughly familiar with this matchup. But here we go. The next game has popped. Both teams sticking with the same composition. Jamie still on the Elemental Shaman, so he's not going to be swapping over to that Enhance. He's going to stick to Elemental. And these guys are down 0-2 at this time. This is a best-of-5 series, so forever second place. If they win this map, if they beat Speechless on Dollar and Sewers, they will move forward into round 2 of the upper bracket.
I see Paladins run this double beacon a lot, and they usually end up in failure. Like, they usually just end up getting bursted behind and dying without that safety net of Saved by the Light. So it's kind of kudos to Linaway to be able to deal with that. Like, Saved by the Light is a talent that Holy Paladins, I think, have taken the entire expansion, so that's their comfort zone. They're used to having that shield when people get low health, and when you don't have that safety net shield, you need to be prepared for someone to die so much sooner. So Linaway is kind of the first Holy Paladin I've seen to make it work, like win with the spec. So this is very interesting, and Forever second place are doing very well in the series, I think, because of it. So let's see if they can keep their momentum here. Speechless are going to be a little bit salty after that last victory, dying through the Iron Bar. So Looney's going to have to keep a level head if he wants to keep his team in this series.
Yeah, I completely agree, and they starting to get a bit up against it. I'm surprised they're not changing their comp up, but they certainly feel like if they don't have these deaths through cooldowns, I think they can definitely take this game. They were really close in game 1 to reaching that kind of critical level of dampening where Linui probably can't out-heal the damage. This is a nice map for them as well, because even though Forever second place can lost behind that pillar, they do have those earthquakes that can kind of catch them, mean that they aren't able to avoid them because the pillar's so small. Jamie just trying to get those out, trying to get a nice amount of procs, nice stuns. We do see Villi stealthily walking in for that fear, but it does get tremored up very quickly by Jamie. The pre-bear form by Looney on this Horrify. They're trying to hit him, but they're not going to commit the stun after that. I think that's intelligent because they've already forced the skin out. Maybe they can commit the stun afterwards, but Linui is also taking a lot of damage, forced into that shield wall. He actually has to pop the wings NS, and we see the swap onto Jamie. He's down to 20%. He's not using that shield wall. He uses it so late. The Hellstone as well. He's spamming out the heals. The NS from Looney. A lot of cooldowns actually forced. Only real cooldowns that haven't been forced from Speechless are their trinkets. They've used pretty much all their damage reduction other than that Iron Back. A lot of cooldowns forced by Forever second place, who are now probably going to be content to get behind that pillar, top themselves off, but that was Linue's wings.
Speechless are looking a lot more aggressive here, pushing forward on the enemy team's pillar. Jamie just chucking out damage, and they need to take advantage of Linue not having that Avenging Wrath. and it doesn't seem like they're doing too much damage. Forever second place, sitting comfortably above 80%. They're going for the attack. Jamie seems to be the target, but they don't follow up the CC on Looney, and without that follow-up, they're not going to force anything. So for Forever second place kind of dropping the ball, they're going to have to spontaneously figure out how they want to deal with it, so they're just going to run away. It seems like that's their only option. They're just evacuating to the opposite side of the map, and every time they cross through the center, Fabio just goes crazy with damage. You can see everyone below half. I think Valet got a nice Master Spell again, and it's good awareness by him, just removing those damage over time effects for Linaway when he doesn't have cooldowns to deal with them.
Yeah, I completely agree, and they're doing a good job right now of rolling them down regardless. Both Fried Kitty and Villi sitting at about 50% HP. Linui does have good mana, and they're swapping up over onto Looney. We see the Horrify. That's going to force the Bucks in. They're going to commit to this one. The Hodge comes out. He is on about 100% HP, though. A nice Aura Mastery from Jamie did allow him to get some heals. They're going to swap it up over onto Jamie. We actually see the Ice Block coming out from Fried, and maybe the Disperse from Villi. So much damage coming out from Speechless. They do land the Sheep onto Looney, but unfortunately it breaks, I think. That's a really unfortunate situation for Forever second place. Maybe they could have got some pressure onto Jamie there. Now we see Fried Kitty in that hypothermia down at 20%. Linway has that Cyclone on him right now. He has his wings up, but he can't heal. And Fried Kitty sitting at about 50%. There's no buff available for the splash. This is sure going to be the bubble from Linway. He does use that bubble, but he takes a lot of damage for it as well. And his wings are pretty much over. This is going to be really hard for him to top his team off, but they're going to go offensive to try shut down some of that damage. They're hitting Fabio. The shield does come out from him. He should be okay for now, but this cross CC does allow Linway to catch up on the healing. His mana is still essentially 100%. Really well played by him, and they are trying to cut through on Fabio. The nice pre-iron back on the silence from Looney means Fabio should be okay for now, but they did force a lot of cooldowns, and Villay's dropping low. He might just die here. It's down to 1%, and he does go down. The CS onto Linway does manage to secure them that game, and that was a lot of damage.
Tons of damage.
All the damage. You know, it was interesting that game. You guys were pointing out that the LSD was a little bit more aggressive. Like they were always like pushing up at the God comp, and I don't know. Normally, when we see Wizard versus Wizard battles, like that positional, giving them that position and going aggressive, makes them vulnerable to the point where they usually fall behind because of such a scenario. But it worked out for them. I mean, they just won after losing twice in a row, so maybe they figured something out here. And they have 2 more games to win in a row if they want to bring it back. And that's really the question. Can they do this consistently over and over and over again? Because I didn't really see large misplays coming out from the Shatter play. If anything, I felt like the LSD was the team that stepped up to the plate in that game.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And like we said, if they do push in, they're going to punish the Paladin for the spec at some point, because if they keep that pressure up, like Super Tears was saying especially, it is really rough for the Paladin without that shield safety net to keep his whole team alive. They do these offensive pushes, but they do get punished for it every single time. And they're doing a great job of balancing their offensive pressure with their ability to turtle. So whenever they do drop low from these offensive pushes and realize they're not going to get a kill or not going to get more cooldowns, they do run back and allow Linway to top them off. But if Speechless then follow them behind their pillar and don't allow them to get that topping off part, then it can be really hard for him without the shield proc to recover the situation. And that's what we saw in the end there. The go before they forced the block and the disperse out from Villa and Fried Kitty with that offensive pressure, and there just wasn't really an answer. Linui had to cast spells, and if he gets locked on one of those, then that was the game.
That was a clutch lockout by Fabio, realizing that they had an opportunity to kill, landing the interrupt, and then securing the game as a result. So now, however, Forever second place have the map choice, so they can bring it to something like Tovaron Arena if they want to do similarly to what they did in game number 1, where they were running one side of the map. Okay, they caught up, let's go to the other side of the map. And I think that's a smart move, because Warlock mobility isn't very good moving forward. Like, they can portal backwards, you can't portal forwards, you already have to have your portal down. So I like that they're trying to exploit the weakness and the mobility of the Warlock by going back and forth. It just so happened on Dalaran Sewers, it's too small. The amount of time that you actually get from moving to the opposite side isn't enough to result in a gain. So now with something like Tovaron, they'll have the distance to get away from Fabio and his damage and get out of line of sight of Jamie to stay alive longer, because I think they can win in dampening as long as they're in a good position with cooldowns, like having a block or having an Avenging Wrath to bursty heal their team back up, and they can push in, something like that. So I definitely think that for Forever second place, if there was a god comp that could do it. They're looking to be the one.
Yep, I agree. And with those feathers and freedoms, they are able to get around the map quite quickly. So maybe a slightly bigger map like Talve and Tigers, they have both those available for these last 2 games, should it take them 2 more games to finish out the series. They can certainly exploit the bigger map and be able to kite away and get topped off between those guys, because that was really what killed them there. They didn't last long enough to get the kill necessarily, and like you say, if they do stay alive into dampening, they do have a higher chance to kill as well. So we'll see. They've actually chose Tiger's Peak Arena. I would have maybe thought about Tolveron, but maybe they're saying if we don't win on this map, we still have Tolveron as kind of our ace in the hole for the 5th game, since they would be on their map selection again. But Tiger's Peak is a bigger arena than Dalaran for sure. The pillars are quite strangely shaped, which means maybe the earthquakes won't be so effective. And you can certainly push in quite quickly on here as well.
Saying that they can give away a game is like, they have to play very intensely. Like, the amount of damage that Speechless can do, the one interrupt ends the game. There's just one interrupt, so it's really intense, and to kind of fatigue yourself, that's what LSD is known for. It's an attrition composition. It just stays alive as long as possible. It's really tanky, and it almost like bores your opponent. Like, it tries to put them in a position where they're asleep, and then they suddenly burst you down. You're like, oh, I should have paid more attention. I dropped the ball, and I don't know if it's a good idea by picking a map that might not be more advantaged, because going to game 5 could fatigue them, and if there was any way they were going to lose, I think getting fatigued could be the #1 way.
Yeah, I suppose that is true. It's maybe not the most fast-paced matchup that these guys have to deal with, but at the same time, they do have to stay alert, because the damage coming out from Speechless can be quite bursty, especially from Jamie, and they don't have that shield proc to deal with it, so they don't want to be dying before cooldowns. But so far, they've looked quite promising in that regard. A nice MD from Vilay is just going to keep them nice and topped off. No real pressure for Linui to deal with right now. And these MDs from Vilay have been a consistent part of their resets. I really like it, because it means Linui doesn't really have to deal with these constant dots when they do get behind the pillar. It's only his healing that's affecting. There's no real damage other than perhaps the odd earthquake stun that he has to worry about. Right now, both the teams kind of teeing off. Maybe Forever second place feel like going into dampening isn't the worst thing in the world for them, because they're not really playing too offensively right now. We see the Dark Soul coming out from Fabio. He's trying to get stuff done, but now we see the disarm onto Looney. A nice double fear comes out, but it's pre-tremored by Jamie. Well played. I think Fabio actually trinketed it anyways, but it's still quite okay for Speechless. They do have to use that skin on the swap, but that's not too many cooldowns. Looney can kind of just play defensive now, and also the fact that they use those stuns, use that disarm, means they can be the offensive team for a bit. Linue is down at 50%. Fry Kitty also taking a lot of damage. The Wings comes out, the execution sentence, and that's quite a few cooldowns forced onto Forever second place.
Yeah, Linue actually forced to bop himself out of that stun. He wants to make sure that he can cast for the full duration of his Avenging Wrath. But now Jamie getting swapped over to a lot of damage following it up. Looney caught into a Deep Freeze stun. Now Jamie caught into a Fist of Justice stun. Still quite a lot of damage following up. A nice tremor, though, will break Looney out of the crowd control, allow him to continue healing his partner. And Jamie recognized that he's just running right in. Time to get some damage done. Linue doesn't have Avenging Wrath to deal with it. If Jamie can stay on top of him, they might be able to even force a blocker dispersion. They need to just push in, and it seems like that's what they're doing. Fabio pushing up, Jamie pushing up, getting some earthquakes down onto the ground, trying to kill the water elemental as well. So Speechless still trying to get every advantage as they can. Valet going for that Master Spell, maybe a risky play that took quite a lot of health from him. Linue was able to quickly pick him up, however. We can see Fried Kitty getting a lot of icicles here, just Frostbolt after Frostbolt. Valet is certainly at 5 Shadow Orbs, and it looks like they're going to go for their attack, and Fried Kitty actually blocked offensively to get the sheep. They're looking to end the game here and now, and how are they going to respond? Fabio doing a good job defensively, fearing up Fried Kitty, preventing a lot of damage. Jamie's going to gateway and evacuate the situation. I think it was a good reaction from Speechless. That could have definitely been Jamie's life.
Yeah, I completely agree. They even held on to Looney's trinket there. Good pills from Fabio. A nice gateway from Jamie as well. Just means he was completely fine. And now they're swapping the pressure. You do see the bash come out. That's going to be trinketed by Linui, but his whole team is rotting. He might even have to use the bubble. The Wings is available in 1 second. He's going to have to pop that as soon as it comes up. There is that Wings execution sentence. His team should be fine for now, but they won't have that available for future pushes, and it looks like Speechless are now the ones that should be in a little bit scared, because that Wings is available, and they don't have they do have quite a few cooldowns actually, but they should be trying to swap it over onto Jamie, who does not have that trinket available. I would really like to see that, but they're actually going for Looney. A nice fair comes out. There was no tremor available for that. We do see the bugs again come out from Looney. It looks like he's going to be okay for now. He's not really getting too much help from his team, but at the same time, he's not taking much damage. He's down to about 50%. He's going to be able to top himself off with that Swiftmend and on use trinket. And we do see the sheeps onto Jamie because forever second place are rotting. That Wings has now expired. It's not up for basically a minute now. Pride Kitty down to 20%. He only has one ice block available. Linway only has that bubble. They're going to force the block, and Linway might even have to go into the bubble here. He needs to be careful. He can't afford to get locked out right now. He's definitely going to die if he does. There is that bubble. They have no defensive cooldowns available. This is looking really, really good for Speechless.
Yeah, it really is. Speechless have stepped up their game, and forever second place have to pull off a miracle, in my opinion, from this position to be able to win this match. It seems like they're going to go and attack Looney. This is their one opportunity. If they don't kill him here, it's going to look very grim, and it doesn't look like they have any more stuns to follow it up. Now they're just on the run. Fried Kitty and Valet trying to get out of line of sight, but Fried Kitty will go down. Oh my god, Linaway barely saving him. A miracle save at 1% HP, but Fried Kitty's still on the run. He's still just taking so much damage. Linaway now taking a lot of damage. Aura Mastery comes out, and Linaway needs to cast. He has to get his team at least above half HP. Oh, luckily his Avenging Wrath is here. Here come the Wings. Time to top off his team, and it seems like he's going to be able to recover, but quite a close call for forever second place.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now they're basically out of cooldowns. Once that Wings expires, I expect them to surely die. But they're going to have to get offensive pressure onto Speechless, and that's exactly what they're doing. The Deep Sheep lands from Fried Kitty. Excellently played. This is the Icy Veins. They're trying to throw everything at Jamie. There is that shield wall, though. The Trinket coming out as well. He looks like he's just going to be fine. He's at about 80% HP. Again, Kibba not having to use that Trinket. He gets the Cyclone onto Linway. There is the Wings. They have expired. Now they need to get the offensive pressure. They could push for the kill here. They still have that Trinket. A nice CS onto the reclone from Fried Kitty means there's no more CC onto Linway, and the execution sentence does come out because of that, but they're just so short on cooldowns. They don't have a block for 20 seconds. There's no disperse for 40. We do see the deep freeze, but a nice pre-iron back onto Jamie should mean they're okay. A nice Shadow Furiosa from Fabio does shut down the sheep from Fried. He did not have any blocks available to land that. The Fear isn't unfortunately able to be followed up by any CC from Fried Kitty either. This is really unfortunate. We do see the signs come out. There is no Sham Rage available. They could potentially get the kill here, but it looks like they're going to have enough. The NS from Looney is trying to keep Jamie alive. He's up to about 50% HP right now. They need to get offensive now. Villi doesn't have any cooldowns left. The Disperse is up in about 10 seconds. Can they kill him before it? He's at about 30% HP. Linway desperately trying to keep him alive. He does get to cast. He's casting those Word of Glory. He's trying to get as much healing done as possible. Fried Kitty sitting about 60%. A beautiful triple Shadow Fury coming out from Fabio, though. The Wings does come up. The execution sentence not quite available yet, but it will be shortly. The shield will of course used by Linway there as well to mitigate some of that damage. Villi has his disperse available, and this is actually quite a good situation for forever second place. They have that block, they have that disperse, they have Trinket on Linway, they do have cooldowns to answer Speechless, and they actually forced the bark skin on Looney there. Maybe he misread that swap a little bit, the deep freeze into the sheep, forcing out the bark skin, and actually the Trinket from Looney as well. They could potentially swap to either Jamie or Looney. They're very low on cooldowns after that.
Yeah, that was a really big misread by Looney. He expected to get swapped to, and now he's down. Both of his primary cooldowns, his Barkskin and his Trinket, are no longer available, and this is the miracle I think that forever second place need. If they can get some good cross CC on Jamie and connect onto Looney, they might be able to take his life. However, Linaway doesn't have very many cooldowns to push forward with, and if they go into the center of the map, they will expose themselves to potentially dying, and Looney knows that. He's very far away. He wants to make them cross as much of the map as possible and expose themselves to as much damage. We see Fried Kitty moving forward. Linaway's trying to move up as well, but a nice knock from Jamie is going to push them back, and Looney goes into stealth. He knows that he's very vulnerable. Valet's trying to find him, but he can't. Valet overextending, maybe overstaying his welcome. He's so far across the map, down to 18%. He has that dispersion. He's trying to hold on to it. Ballsy plays. Looks like they're going for a setup onto Jamie. Looney traded out that Iron Bark, though, and Jamie should be able to recover. Surprisingly enough, Looney's actually almost out of mana, and I'm wondering if forever second place, if they can stay alive a little bit longer, if they can turn that into a victory. We see Avenging Wrath out from Linaway, but he needs to cast. Will he get interrupted is the question. He's doing a good job just casting behind the pillar, out of line of sight, and his team has now recovered. Now looking at the situation, though, Jamie has Shamanistic Rage to survive. Looney has Barkskin. Forever second place are going to need a lot of damage in this next attack if they want to win. They need to line up everything perfectly because the Speechless should be able to survive with the cooldowns that are available.
Yeah, that was beautifully played by Speechless. They were just able to delay forever second place for so long that they were able to get that rage up. They were able to get the dark skin on Looney, so it wasn't really a kill target. And even by pushing in, like you say, they exposed themselves. It's a risk they have to take at some point. Villi just drops low every single time. The deep freeze again is able to be stopped. But he actually walks into the Rov, I think. Unfortunate for Speechless. And now Jamie's in a bit of trouble. He did get his Sham Rage up nice and early, but he's down to 50%. He's trying to kite away. Another Tremor comes out from him. Well played. That's going to be the NS onto Jamie. It looks like he's going to be okay. And now now Forever second place are up against it. There's
Oh
no blocks
my.
available, and the Spurs is available, but unfortunately, I think they were dead there anyways. There was no block on Fried Kitty. I think he would have surely gone down, and that ties the series up 2-2.
Wow, what a series so far, man. They got back in it. Congratulations to them. Tied up series 2-2, and we're going to match point. Wow. Whew. What's going through your head right now, Super Tees, when it comes to
I think
watching the
Forever
series?
second place shouldn't have picked this map. I think that
Oh.
Tolvaron would have worked better for them. They were playing well enough that I think they would have won if this was on Tolvaron. And now they have to play another game. And I mean, you can just see on the scoreboard that Speechless are stepping it up. Like Fabio's doubling people, Jamie is doubling people. So Speechless are just getting better and better. And it seems like every game that they're giving them is not increasing their chances of winning. So, I mean, obviously you can't guarantee they would have won on it. It's just in my mind, in the situation of seeing the compositions, Tolvaron Arena seemed like a higher percent chance to have victory than Tiger's Peak. And Forever second place, I think, played that well on that map. And now they're gonna have to do it again. Like they have to play another, what was that, 10-minute, almost 10-minute game. They're gonna have to do that again, and that's what I mean by the LSD is just going to attrition them. Like pressing Lava Burst is fun. Running away from Lava Burst isn't fun. And if you have to run away from Lava Burst for 10 minutes not having fun, you're gonna be like, please, please, like, and to stay alert enough to find your opportunities is gonna be hard as well. So let's see if Forever second place can stay together in their mental state, because right now I think the LSD is going to dampen them.
Mentally and in game. Because, yes, we are going to Tolvaron Arena now, so that was a really good call. Is this going to be enough to give them a match point here? They are now on the ropes. They were 2-0, now they're 2-2. The momentum is definitely in the favor of Speechless. And Game 5 is up next.
All right.
Yeah, Speechless are they're looking so strong now. And maybe we were wrong about saying that they should swap up the comp because maybe they just need to execute it a little bit better. They did die 2 times kind of unfortunately through other cooldowns. Maybe at times we wouldn't have expected him to die, and maybe they didn't expect to die either. So now that they've cleaned that up a little bit, they are looking quite convincing. Linway actually did 20 million healing last game. He must be, his fingers must be hurting a little bit. I think he's having to deal with faking all these CSs and stuff on top of that as well. It's such a rough spot for him to be in. He's doing such a good job. It's kind of it must be quite upsetting when these games do go on such a long time. They get so close to the kill on several occasions and they just can't quite get it. But Speechless is just looking like a brick wall right now. Looney is reading. He only really made one mistake in that last game. Everything else he pretty much read perfectly, and he was able to keep his team alive quite well. And even when they did make that mistake, they were able to communicate it. They were like, okay, we maybe misused some cooldowns here, so we're just going to be able to run away and wait for some of those things to come back up. And Forever second place, if they come, we're just going to hit them, and they're going to have to use their own cooldowns. So we'll have to see if this big map is enough for them. But I think if Speechless just play that kind of safe game, they can play for the late dampening, and it seemed to work for them last game.
All right. So the game has started. I'm not sure if you're here, Sid, but if you could swap that over, that'd be cool. I think Super Tees might not be here right now, but I'll give you guys a radio version of what's going on so far. Forever second place is looking for that setup. They're setting up over and over onto Looney, getting him in that CC, and they're looking for the damage to be done onto Fabio. Actually, they're hitting the Warlock this time around, so interesting play coming out from Forever second place. This shatter play looking at going on the Warlock. They're actually swapping over onto Looney, bringing him down to half health here, and Looney is forced defensive once again. And I think Forever second place going into this last game is looking a little bit more aggressive. Linaway, he's just bopping out of that bash instantly, but at the same time, they aren't leaving their pillar, so I'm interested to see how this is going to follow up. The deep freeze onto Looney does come out. No CC to follow it up just yet because Jamie and Pops does a great job at shutting down that setup. And Forever second place, they're not leaving their pillar. They're forcing the LSD, if they want to get any sort of momentum, to come to them.
Yeah, I think Forever second place are playing it quite intelligently. They identify that for Speechless to get their damage done, they have to walk up to their pillar, which means they're going to be in the open. exposes swaps to Looney, but it doesn't seem like they're able to get too much done right now. Nice shadow fears have been coming out from Fabio, shutting down a lot of the goes. We do see the wings out from Linway. They really need to get something done with this. And we do see that Horrify onto Looney, but he does have all these cooldowns available. Of course, Kibba is Looney. The Deep Priest comes out. He's actually choosing to Trinket that rather than Barkskin. Interesting choice by him, but he holds that Barkskin for another swap. So it probably will work out quite nicely for him since he does identify he is the target of choice right now. The skin might not have been enough that he was caught with a CC on both his DPS. Jamie now maybe the target of choice for forever second place, but they seem quite happy to just turtle away the bash onto Linway. They're not really achieving too much since they're just behind the pillar. Veli's already used a fair amount of mana. He's emptied dots twice, I think, so far this game. They're playing so defensively, but Speechless, they're kind of sitting in their face, and they could get punished for this. Of course, Looney doesn't have that trinket now. They could go on a lot of people. The defreeze comes out. Who's their target? It looks like they might be trying to get onto Jamie. They do land that Rov, so Jamie could be in trouble here. The Silence and Hodge overlap, preventing the Rage, forcing out the trinket. Maybe they can get the Rage anyways. That would be really good for them, but Looney, there's no follow-up CC. He was in bear form for that Rov, so he should be okay for now. Sitting at about 80% HP as Linway does get locked on his hill.
Yeah, no rage, but he didn't get the rage, but they did get the trinket and all the Trents out for Looney for now, at least. So Speechless are going to stabilize here once again, and it looks like Forever Second Place is going to be moving in onto their pillar, more in their face, looking for these setups over and over and over again. This is match point. They have to make something happen right here, right now, or they will be dropping down to that lower bracket. And looking at the defensive cooldowns available for Speechless, it looks like they should be able to survive here, but we've seen the damage come out from the Shatter Play time and time again. The Hodge, the follow-up, the Horrify onto Jamie, the preemptive Ironbark from Looney. She's going to keep him nice and healthy for now. The Tremor for Looney, so the Fear cannot follow up, is going to force Forever Second Place to fall back once again to their pillar and wait for their DRs, wait for their cooldowns on their CC in their next setup to push forward once again. And Speechless, they're not going to let them go behind the pillar for nothing. They're going to push up a little bit and try to get some pressure going. Valet coming out in the middle of the map, maybe looking to get a Fear off. Nope, it looks like they're going to continue to play it safe for now, wait for everyone to synergize up all of their defensive, or all of their setup moving forward. But I really like that Fabio and Jamie isn't letting this team, you know, catch a break. They're not letting them just sit on the pillar for free. And like you guys said with that double, but here we go, interrupting me on the setup. The Horrify onto Jamie once again. He does have that Shaman Rage available to him. The Hodge coming out. He's going to Shaman Rage right away as Looney gets silenced up. And it looks like they're going to be completely fine through that. And they're trying to turn it back around. The bash out on the Looney, a whole bunch of burst damage is going to force the bubble as well. Great job by Speechless to turn that scenario around, for trading out just a Shamanistic Rage and actually coming away with that efficient trade for a bubble on Linaway.
Yeah, and this must be so frustrating for Forever Second Place because they are getting cooldowns with each of their setups, but there's just so many cooldowns on such short CDs for Speechless, and every single time they do go offensive, they expose themselves to these little things like Looney able to push in there to get that bash and force the bubble out of Linway. So that's really, really well played by Speechless. They're just kind of, they know how they can play this game. They don't want to lose it. They don't want to play too offensively. A good hour's gameplay's gone into this, and like you said, the loser of this particular game goes into the loser bracket, and a nice pre-iron bark from Looney should be able to keep Fabio alive here, really reading that swap from Forever Second Place. I think they were kind of relying on catching Speechless off guard with that. That was the first time they've hit the Warlock in 2 or 3 games, I think. So they really well played by Looney to be able to read that anyways, and we do see an unfortunate overlap of that DR Sheep and the Fear, so Jamie's not going to tremor him out of that, and now they're looking so good. Speechless able to push in. Linway is kind of low, he's down to 30% HP, he could go down here, there's no wings available for 10 seconds, the shield wall comes out, he's just able to get behind the pillar, he should be okay for now. Villa and Fried Kitty are both dropping though. They do have defensive cooldowns still available, but they're so low on mana. Their whole Villa is not able to get any more MDs, and this is just the start of dampening. Speechless just looking so strong. All trinkets available, all defensive cooldowns available for them. Even that Dark Regeneration wasn't used by Fabio thanks to that Ironbark, so I'm not really sure what Forever Second Place are meant to do here. They do pop that wings, but they're running with it. Once the wings expires, they're going to be in so much trouble, and I just feel like Speechless are just going to keep running at them, and there's nothing that Forever Second Place can do right now.
Yeah, they are feeling the pressure. Linaway actually just getting walked out right there. I'm not sure. It looks like it was just a wind shear, so it wasn't very long. Horrify goes out onto Looney. The double Fear is going to be tremored instantly by Jamie. Good job by him. They're trying to set up a little bit on Looney. Looney sees it. He's in bear form. He's got that bark skin up. He is good to go and ready for that setup. Linaway caught in the middle of the map, though. He's getting swapped to. He does not have that bubble available to him. Aura Mastery and Wall are going to be used, as well as that Execution Sentence. It looks like it's going to be enough to heal him for now, but that is a scary position for this Holy Paladin to be in the middle map, especially especially without that save by the light to save his light. And looks like this forever second place once again is just going to continue to rotate over and over. Little way though, he's getting so low. He actually gets cheered, gets locked out at the very end there, and speechless. The onslaught of the LSD continues, and they will move forward into that round 2 upper bracket, knocking down forever second place after a crazy series to that lower bracket. Congratulations goes to them, sticking to their guns, adapting to the situation, losing with LSD, but not, second guessing themselves, knowing what they need to do, figuring it out, and landing it. And they are going to be moving forward in a 3-2 series. And there you have it. Forever second place, though, they definitely proved that they are a super scary and solid, Holy Paladin, Frost Mage, Shadow Priest, and they're going to be dropping down to that lower bracket to face Cavi's dad, which has run FLS as well as Kitty Cleave and that Warrior Lock Shaman. So they're going to be jumping down to face them in that losers bracket. So they're not out of it just yet, but we're going to be moving on into that lower bracket up next.